Let's get this show on the road. Alright, what are we doing today? Let me switch to this. Ah, okay, we're live. Let me turn this thing off so I don't have to hear my own voice in my head. Good morning. It's still morning by 7 minutes. It's 11:53 on Thursday the 22nd. And Christmas is rapidly approaching in my house. I had to clean up the house for my sister to come along. Um, but yes, this is the morning stream, such as it is. My experiment in doing more conversational streams just to update people who know me, want to know what's going on, maybe share some stuff that they're doing. What do I know that's going on among my friends? Not a whole lot right now. Um, so I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing today. I finally got the lights on the tree. I have found my Christmas tree skirt and all the ornaments are here. Need to clean the house, need to wrap the presents, need to clean the house. It's really dirty. Also still need to do some work, and I had to do all my calendar updates for the year. I make this thing called the compact. Oh wait, what's it called? It's the word counting calendar. Let's see. I made a new display mode here just to try this out. Let's see. What do I want to show it? Oh yes, the word counting calendar. So let me pull up Illustrator. And actually, I guess I can use this mode. Illustrator, open. Did I not open it? Is it slow? It's just slow, I think. Yep, I need to put on the enable the. I'm running low on battery. Okay, so this is opened, and Adobe still has not added the full screen. But let's open this file. Also set this timer for 15 minutes so we don't go over. 15 minutes set. And what I am looking for are the all products. This is an ETP product. And is it a variant? I just started reorganizing all these files. 1 month planner, planner kit. The almanac is the one. And actually, this is a InDesign file. There should be some sources in here, though. Yeah, this is an interesting thing. So there's the word, and there's that, and there's the word tracking calendar. Those are probably both InDesign files. Now that I think about it, because they're multiple page documents. Oh, that's weird. And apparently, I have not re-added it to my taskbar. PD app, what the heck is that? That's asking me for a license agreement. There we go. Options, keep this in dock. It's loading. And in other news, I need to just work on I need me to make my ETP for the day, which I'll do on this as soon as this is done loading. And alright, so InDesign is finally loaded. Let me make sure that it stays in the dock for next time. Okay, I guess it is going to stay in the dock. And I'm trying to let me sort these color-wise. That's more of a cyan green. I guess it should be on this side. Anyway, so Illustrator, Acrobat, Creative Cloud, InDesign. Let's try finding those files again. Let's see. Source 2016. So these are last year's. I remember why I hate doing this. I think about I sell 7 or 8 of these every year. These are purely digital files, but it takes like 4 or 5 hours to make them, and so it ends up not being a really good return on my time. Um, so every year I try to automate it a little bit more. So the 365 day journal is this giant 365 page file that has all the dates in it already. And it's basically the form, and you print it out, and some people get it bound. I think I've seen one picture of someone who's sent me a bound version of it, but I don't really get a whole lot of feedback. What I might need to start doing is I can continue to make these things, but um, ask people to send a picture of it if they want me to keep doing this every year, because it's kind of a tedious thing that takes up a whole day. So at least like these numbers here, these are generated. Like I figured out how to use Excel to generate. Of course, fortunately, the Mac version of Excel doesn't do this, doesn't work with it, so I had to use the PC version. Anyway, the other big update I need to do before the end of the year is the word tracker calendar, which is also kind of a tedious to make digital product that does not sell very well either. But the people who like it really seem to like it. Well, this is the first year I actually heard back for some people. I actually bothered to ask this time. So what do you use? What do you use to the word tracking calendar for? And one person won a writing award or a writing fellowship to go and write in a castle in Scotland for like a month, fully paid for. And so I asked her to take a picture of the calendar for her there. But I need to get this in place, so she can start doing that. One thing I might do with this calendar, this doesn't look right. No, I guess this is correct. Is what is going on with my Zoom? It says reset all of my preferences. Preferences, Zoom. I think we have general preference. I don't think this live Zoom thing interface. It's advanced composition. It's GPU performance. Where's the live animated Zoom? Or it's more like it. So the idea behind this is this is what my my NaNoWriMo calendar does. And so you would fill in a number of words. Each of these blocks is 250 words. So if you write down the number of words that you've done for the day, and then you fill in the number of boxes that correspond to the number of words you filled in, and then what you end up with is like a pretty nice representation of a visual representation of how many words you're writing every day. And then at the end of the week, you can write how many words that is. And there so has to be 10 of these boxes. So I was thinking that I can use these boxes arbitrarily, and so people can measure other units of achievement. It could be 15-minute blocks spent on a project. It could be chores. It could be something that you could assign, anything you could divide by 10, I suppose. And write down some sort of quantitative figure up here, like a number of things. Like 10 nice things you've done for somebody today, or I don't know. And then that would make it more general. The design is a little bit flat looking too here. I'd like to fix that. But otherwise, it's kind of a pain in the ass to make this, because it's although the template is fixed, the number of days are not. So in each of these, I actually am hiding them. So I had to know how many days a week there are. I had to calculate these numbers. And I suppose one thing that I can do this year is figure out how many of these are reusable. And there might be a way of me just being able to pick the day, month starting, and ending, and that would make this much faster. Because the layout and retyping of it and double checking of everything is what takes a long time. So that could be the optimization I make this week when I do this. Because, it's otherwise it's kind of a pain in the butt. And and again, this is not like I think, but this and the ETP journal, and how much am I selling these for? I don't even remember. Adobe again is not working with the Windows system. Makes me want to switch back to the PC, especially with all these underpowered Macintoshes coming out lately. The new MacBook Pro 15, I was excited by that. And I kind of like the idea of their touch bar. But it's maxed out at 16 gigabytes, which is getting kind of low these days. It's still super expensive. It's lighter, but it has less battery life on it. It's a compromise machine designed to look good. And this kind of makes me aware of how much, Apple's tendency toward becoming a lifestyle company seems to be accelerating. When Jobs was still around, he's still, at least the design was compromised, but absolutely solid. But now we're starting to see weird slippages in that. When I wanted to look at the productivity tools here, and just look at, there's the word counting calendar, and so there's a picture of this. So this is what it looks like when it's all visualized. You can see the solid, the days that are all filled in were really good writing days. Days where I didn't write anything, at least got 250 words down. And this was an earlier first prototype in 2012. And I believe I sell it. I sell it for $7. And I'm going to sell it for $12 this year. For $1 a month. If you really want to count your words, $1 a month should not be bad. What else am I selling on this site? Not very much. I no longer sell these on the site. I should just take this listing down. I just realized that I've changed. We're tracking the data count. This sale this for $9. I think should have out these for at least for $12. Or it's not $1 a page. If this was $1 a page, I'd be at $365. That's no good. If I could get these printed and bound on demand, that might be something. I might look into limited printing of this. Unfortunately, print on demand is still quite expensive. So I think it would end up being still, I would have to sell the bound version for, I don't know. I should email my printer and ask them. So if I wanted to do because we've resolved some of these binding issues that have been a problem for a long time. But just to do these one-offs so people can just buy them, I won't make any money off of them because they'll be so expensive. But at least there'll be the option to have. So let me make a few notes here. So I am going to write my ETP for the day. Get this camera over here. So instead of using a piece of my own design work, I kind of like to do this by hand. The former Iron Chef Japan from years and years ago. What's his name? Michiba? He used to do a calligraphy menu before he started cooking, which I thought was cool. Which is where the idea for the very earliest version of the Emergent Task Planner came from, which was called the Menu of the Day. And then the Menu of the Day got combined with our task list, and then for some reason it became very popular. But I'm starting pretty late, so let's start this at 11. Today is what? The 22nd, 12, 22, 2016. 11, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I didn't get the spacing quite right. There's the advantage of using my own print design stuff, but laziness well, I would have to go downstairs and get a printout, and I have a laser printer now, a color laser printer that prints using that waxy ink, so it's not very fun to write on. It feels gross. So I don't like writing on the forms. It's purely for prototyping scale of things to see if they look correct in color. But they're no longer pleasant for to write on. And I was tired of buying expensive inkjet color printers that the ink would dry up. No matter how much I paid for it, the ink was always a problem. It was a constant headache, and it was not worth the money. Just to be able to print things every once in a while. So the color laser jet is, I was paid like $100, $190 for it. It's an HP 252DW. It's like around $200. And since it uses solid toner for the color, it never dries up. It's already dry. But anyway, the things I wanted to do today were to get this stream out of the way. That's always like a daily thing. Secondly, I need to... I'm not going to list the chores this time. Oh, I need to write a spec for redoing the JavaScript code that I've been working on. I've been trying to diagnose a bug for let's play this playback, in which the iPad clients of the server, these things, this is an iPad, there's some issue, I think, this is my guess, based on the testing, with iOS itself, in which if it's receiving too much data on a socket connection, it just stops receiving it and stops processing it until you touch the screen and wake it up. And weirdly, it's not JavaScript going to sleep, it's the network stack that's pausing for some reason. It doesn't happen if the messages are small, but if it gets too many, it's like a buffer overflows, or it just stops, it just refuses to eat at that point, which makes it a problem. It makes me wonder if Apple iOS engineers are doing this on purpose so people don't write the kind of apps that we're writing. Which means like I might need to switch, maybe the spec needs to switch from using these things to using Microsoft Surface tablets, because it's an irritating feature. I should probably get some Android devices and see if that doesn't have that problem. But the interim solution is to rewrite it. So instead of pushing the note data, we pull it. And if we pull it through JavaScript, that probably will get around the issue. But I had to find out. But that means I need to write a whole new subsystem to save the data, which is a subsystem I had to write anyway. But still, it's I guess it's not a bad thing, because that means I get to work on a different piece of code. And this is the first real technical bug we've hit in I think 4 or 5 years. Not one that was not bottlenecked by our own lack of understanding or experience using the technology. Although I'm not a network engineer by any stretch of the imagination. Well, maybe a little bit of now that I am. I know how things connect, but I don't know really the nitty gritty about. Well, what is the Nagel algorithm, and why would you want to disable it to improve your TCP performance? I know that these things exist, but I don't know what the workarounds are, some of the things people have had to do to make network communications really easy. I've been more in the level of I can open a socket and receive data from it, so hooray. But this network issue is the first one that we've actually had to work around, because everything else we've tried has worked so far when we haven't even had to hit optimization. So I've got these two things. Then there's a bunch of Christmas stuff. I should take out one more last thing. I'll take out the recycling. Take out trash. And starting the stream, we've already done that. one interesting side effect of writing these things every day is that I get ideas for how to improve the form. Though I suppose I could get the same thing from doing it with the actual printouts. Maybe I should switch to that. I would like to make a half-size foldable version, actually, now that I think about it, of that form. So I can just kind of have these lying around like this as single foldable sheets. Maybe they can be bound into signatures. That would be kind of neat, actually, for journal makers. Let me write that down. Oops, that was too far. That should have been right around here. Half size. Signature ready. And this guy working the simplified ETP. Because if I'm not doing task bubbles, I mean, this is the basics that I need. Schedule grid, like a list of 3 important things to do, and then a notes area. And I think that's it. Maybe there's an opportunity to print shells, or have people just run these through and add their own things to it. And that's been an idea. So people who have printers can customize the sheets if they just align it properly. But then that's what the whole. Let's see. I'm going to add one fourth thing is to look at long-term projects, because I keep getting bottlenecked on not having the experience in writing detailed software. Software that does cool stuff. So anyway, that's the stream for today. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, it's starting really late, but that's okay. Just need to keep moving, keep fighting the resistance to doing the work. I had the insight today that the resistance, as Stephen Pressfield would call it, the author of The War of Art, in which he talks about this idea called the resistance. That's you want to do something, you want to improve your career, you want to learn how to make something, you want to do stuff, but there's this voice in your head, or there's this force within you, a kind of demon, I suppose, that does not want you to do it. It wants you to sit on your butt and not do crap. And it's like, when do I sit down and write my book? I had to do this first, or I had to do that first, or I don't feel like it, or I have a headache, or I don't have the energy. These are excuses I tell myself all the time, and lately I've been much more susceptible to them than I really am comfortable admitting. Although I admit this all the time. I mean, I write about this all the time on my blog and complain about it in the Discord chat room. But it's something that I'm continually battling. I try not to beat myself up all over it, but maybe I need to beat myself up a little bit and find some kind of solution for it. But and then Christmas is on the way. I have some theories about what to do about it. But I've talked about before, such as the example of getting more people involved in my projects, creative interdependence as opposed to just merely creative independence, and the idea that there's an extended form of sharing that I was talking about. What was it? It was instead of passively sharing, like I will make something and I'll put it on my blog and people can find it. I mean, that's done a lot. It's the first step of sharing. This next step of sharing is actively engaging with people to share. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I've found that it's okay to ask people what they're doing with my work. It's okay to be interested in other people's work, and for some reason I've never do that because I don't want to bother people, and I assume that people don't want to hear you be bothered by someone. Like just this morning, I got a knock on the door from a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I was not annoyed. It was weird because they wanted to. They were asking if I spoke Mandarin Chinese. And they said no. But then I asked them, did you know that an Asian American was living here? And where did you get my name from? And they seemed like a pleasant older couple, maybe in their 50s. Um, so they just said, oh, we had a database. They didn't seem to be lying. They just generally didn't know. But it was just kind of a weird interaction. And then I wished them well in their ministry, and then they left. And that was a significant proportion of my interaction with other people. And so this is this puzzle of solving what's the next level of sharing that will bring more feedback about what I'm doing or why I'm existing into my life. It's probably why that it's one of those unscratched itches. Of creating this independent lifestyle has been great in many ways, but the isolation at times can be limiting. And so how do I engage with that and not, overstimulate? Because I'm easily overstimulated by too many people. At least I think I am. Or I don't like it. I'm old and cranky now. And my curmudgeonly tendencies have started to kick in more. So, I don't know. It's always a mystery. And then the other thing about all of this is maybe I just accept it and don't let it bother me. Because what does letting it bother me accomplish? So maybe just stop thinking about it. Unthinking is something I have also been practicing. It seems to help. Anyway, the resistance is an emotion. Emotions can be controlled. You do not need to be ruled by negative feeling. Those kind of self mantras. But we'll see. I have a whole month to think about it before, or even like 2 months to think about it before I start my next phase of Groundhog Day resolutions, which is why I wanted to review my my long-term projects. Things like where are they? The 2024 goals, which let me look at them really quickly. I can just check this thing off. 2024 goals. So we have this game, illustration, freedom, compose, thinking, fabricate. I'm looking at these. I'm feeling like, oh, I don't want to do these. And then also I had the 300 days of Groundhog Day resolutions, which the idea was to do these things. And I did for about, how long? Up until May. So for about 100 days, no, maybe not. For about 84 days. No, 70 days. 69 days. About 60 days. For 2 months, I was able to do something every day on it. And it was exhausting. And essentially what happened is I lost interest in it because I was just too tired. And there were too many things happening. Like I had to travel to Taiwan, which was kind of dealing with some personal demons about not speaking the language and feeling like an outsider there. And I feel like an outsider to a great degree here too, because no one really understands what I do or seems to be part of my day to day. So again, that's that isolation thing. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, probably because I don't want to work. Did I set another 15 minutes? I guess I did. Anyway, I'm going to cut the stream short here. Thanks for watching. Later I'll probably stream some, well, I don't know if I'll stream the JavaScript spec writing. That seems like it might be really boring. But I might be something to try. And because I'm not forcing anybody to watch. So thanks for watching. Have a good Christmas. Hanukkah, I think, starts on the 24th. So happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus. I don't know exactly what the Kwanzaa holiday is, but I hear people mentioning it. Have a great holiday. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. If not later today.